What's up, everybody? This is Gray here, and today we're going to look at the Rockpals 300-watt portable power station. Basically, this holds about 280 watt hours and roughly about 78,000 milliamp hours to kind of give you an idea of what the little unit is capable. Very small form factor. A lot of these things are geared towards people that do a lot of camping. Also, the way I look at it is something like this would be great to have in your vehicle for an emergency situation. So let's dive into it and see how this can be something that you could use for emergency preparedness. All right, so let's dive into it. All right, folks, so before we get a close-up view of the front of this little unit here, I want to discuss a couple of things that this could be used for, also what you get in the box. Of course, you're going to get a instruction manual, which kind of goes over the ins and outs of this unit as well. You're going to get an AC adapter and a vehicle adapter as well, and you can also charge this via USB on the front of it as well, which I think is another option for folks that have maybe, let's say, a different vehicle, or a vehicle that may not have a working cigarette lighter, as they used to call them. Now they call them AC adapter lighters or whatever that they come up with these days. But anyways, you guys kind of get where I'm going with this. Depending on your vehicle, you'll have many options. But let's say you have an inverter, you can use this. If you're using it at home, you can use this. If you're in your vehicle, you can use something like this. Or, you know, like I said, you can also charge it via USB as well. So I think that there's the three ways to charge it, which is really nice to have. Also, the small form factor of this unit, like I said, it's very portable, very lightweight. I forget what the actual weight it is, but it doesn't weigh that much, at least from my perspective on that. Now, that being said, to me, what I would use this for is something to keep in my vehicle for emergency situations. Maybe you have a small compressor. Maybe you have a small heater if you're up north and your car dies and you don't have access to turn on your car to run the heater in your vehicle. This can come in handy to run maybe a small heater until you get help or have the accessibility to get help. Maybe you need to charge your phone, whatever the case may be. Also, you can use it to charge things like communications, like radios and whatnot. And we'll dive into a few of those things here in a minute once we kind of go over the front of this and see what options you have. Also, I'm going to touch on this. I'm not going to go too deep into the solar panels themselves. This is a 100-watt solar panel array, foldable. I think it weighs about 9 pounds. And what I give this company credit for is they give you this array of adapters. What I really enjoy about this is, in case, let's say you don't have this unit, but you have a Jackery, or you have a Blue Yeti, or you have whatever the solar unit you have, you may be able to use their solar panels for that unit. So I think that's very nice of them to give you all these little adapters that you can use to charge other things outside of the one that it comes with. But we'll get into that outside of this. So now let's take a quick look at the front of this unit and see what kind of options you have. Okay, folks, so here's our unit. I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on, and to turn it on, you're going to just kind of hold this button down here, and that's going to turn the unit on. As you can see, it is 100% charged. I got it about 90% charged, and also you can control the display here by this going on, so you can take that on and off, and I'll show you some different things here on the front of the screen. So you have your power button, you hold that in just for a few seconds and turn it on, and then of course you have a display option right here. And I'm going to show you some other stuff because it'll show you input and output on this as well. Then you have your DC power button, your USB power button, and your AC power button right here. Now you can just push those in. That one turns on. That's going to turn on. And then the AC button, you're going to have to hold for a second, and that will turn on as well. Now we have green lights across the board. Do you like these little covers on here to make sure things don't kind of get inside there? So you got that one there. And then you also have the 12-volt connector here, which is good to kind of keep any type of debris or stuff like that might come out of either one of these. So it has these little rubber things on there. I wouldn't suggest submerging this, but a little bit of, like mist, light rain or something like that, you're not going to be too much of in a bad situation. Okay, and if you look over here, once I turned these outputs on, you'll see the output says 0 watts right here on the screen. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully it's not too, the sun's not too bright there. Anyway, so let's talk about these outputs, okay? So right here, we're going to have a 100 to 120 volt, 300 watt AC output. Now this is a pure sine wave AC outlet, which is good to protect your devices as well. And then we can move over to this section right here. Right here, we're going to have a QC 3.0, a 5 watt 3.1 amp, a 5-watt 3.1 amp, and a 30-watt USB Type-C. And again, like I said, you can use this to charge in. So you have multiple ways to charge this unit. Let's go over here to the 12-volt adapter here, which of course is a standard socket plug that you can see here that you would use that. Now it's a 12-volt, 10-amp, 120 watts that you can use on there. And then of course here's where your DC in is, your DC input. This is where you would plug in your solar panels, your car charger, or your AC adapter into this, which will charge the unit itself. Down here you have a DC out, and you have two DC 12-volt outputs, and I want to say those are 5 amps, 60 watts right here. So you have a very array of what you can see on top of this screen. I think the screen is nice. Usually, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is, let me see if I can do that there, if you guys can kind of see that, because I know there's a reflection on there. I did peel off the plastic. But with a lot of these units, unless you're in the shade, it's hard to see this. But to me, it's pretty bright looking from on this side of the angle. And like I said, this is the display here. You can turn that on and off. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to grab a few things and cut over that. But if you have any questions in regards to any of this stuff on here, please put that down in the comments below. I'm more than welcome to answer any comments that you have. Or, of course, you know, guys, email me at any time for questions in regards to this. Now, this unit will run a CPAP machine. A lot of people ask that questions in regards to CPAP. And then I would use this right here, the QC 3.0, which is awesome for a CPAP machine, depending on your machine itself. Some people have an AC outlet versus that, but if you have a CPAP that has an on-the-go kind of USB type connection, this is the way to go right here for you folks that ask that a lot of units like this. And again, the unit is a pretty small form factor. As you can see there, you have your vents on both sides. No bells, no whistles. Very sleek, very lightweight, at least from my perspective, compared to some of the other units that I've done. I've done a few reviews on certain of these things like that, and some of them weigh a lot more than others. Now, that being said, like I said, you can't really see it on the camera, but it has a nice little carrying handle, which you saw in the previous section of that. But all in all, this is a awesome little unit. So a lot of you folks are going to say, well, we want you to see you test this unit. We want to see you kind of, what can you plug into this unit, and what's the draw on it, and what does the screen look like as that's going on. All right, so let's kind of defer to that, and let's go grab some stuff and test this unit out. Also, one more thing I want to add with this unit here, because some of you guys may ask, if you're using a solar panel, the 100-watt solar panel, it'll take roughly 5 to 7 hours to charge this little unit here, as well as if you're using the wall charger, 6 to 7 hours, and if you're using a USB Type-C, roughly 6 to 7 hours as well. So 100-watt solar panel, 5 to 7 hours, and the wall charger, 6 to 7 hours, and USB Type-C, 6 to 7 hours as well. And the really cool thing about this unit here is it does do pass-through charging, so you can have something plugged in that you're trying to use energy for. You know, let's say you're trying to power up your phone or a laptop or whatever device you have hooked up to this unit here, and you could also be charging the unit as well while you're using this device, which is very awesome. All right, let's get into some testing. Okay, folks, so as you can see there, I'm charging a pair of batteries for my flashlight, I'm charging a phone, and I'm charging my headlamp there. I'm going to get closer here in a minute, but also I have this beast over here. Let me switch hands there. This fan here, that's a 3rd horsepower engine. It pulls about 155 watts, about 120 volts. That we're going to turn on and push this unit. Right now it's reading only at 8 watts output. I just kind of wanted to show you this array of little USB things that I have plugged in here. So it's charging a phone, it's charging batteries, and it's charging my headlamp. And like I said, also if you have, let's say, a pair of walkie-talkies, if some other units that you can add to this. Of course, I don't have everything that I'd like to push this unit with, but you, of course, can kind of get an idea of how this runs. And that's what I'm going to use there for some power, because I live here in Florida, and this beast is a lifesaver sometimes. All right, so let's get up and close and let's turn some things on. Okay, folks, so I had to turn this fan the other way because the air was going to mess with my mic way too much. Right now it's on low. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Let me see if I can get it in a little bit closer for you guys to see on this unit here. And you can see the draw that this is going on. And then we'll change it from medium to high. All right, folks. So that's me zoomed up into the screen there. And again, I have all this other stuff hooked to the unit, the batteries, the phone, the headset, and then the fan over here is running on low at the moment. So let's pay attention to the screen right here, and let's put it on high. First, let's go to medium. That's medium. It's drawing 133 watts. Battery's running at 98%. Doing pretty good there. Now let's go ahead and crank up this fan to high. Hopefully you guys can still hear me over the wind, because it's a very powerful fan. Alright, so now I'm maxing out that fan. I do apologize for the wind noise, but this is a test. And as you can see, that is about 138 watts it's pulling, as you can see on there. Okay folks, so roughly running that fan for about 5 minutes or so, drop the battery down to 96%, pulling 155. I think it's supposed to pull about 155 watts, but I think I never got past about 144, 145. So you could probably only run something that powerful, or that something of that draw magnitude, probably for maybe, I would say, max an hour of that kind of draw. Now, like I said, depending on what you're running on here, you have different options of what you can do. But when it's just charging stuff of this nature, like batteries, phones, headlamps, laptops, and small electronics, I think this is going to last you quite some time. I want to plug in the solar panel and kind of see how this works with everything that's here on front of us. All right, so let's kind of take a look at that. Okay, folks. So as you can see here, now I have the solar panels plugged in. And you can see how the battery is charging. We have an output of 9 watts. It's been fluctuating between 9 and 10 watts, which is still charging all these little gadgets down here, batteries, cell phone, headlamp, and whatnot. And then the input is 29 watts. It's been fluctuating between 28, sometimes I get 30 watts. Now it is roughly, you can't see my watch from there. Let me correct that. To kind of give you an idea, it is, I don't know, going to catch up, but it's about 5 in the afternoon there. So the sun is not at its optimal spot in the sky. It is late afternoon, but we're still getting up. We're up to about 30, 31 watts. I just saw it go up there. But we are charging the unit and also charging the stuff on there. So we have a pass-through situation going through here. So we are charging this stuff, and we're also charging the unit at the same time. So I think that's a really awesome aspect of that. Now, there is one downfall to this. And there's always a con anywhere that you look at any device that you kind of purchase or you decide to purchase, is when you have something plugged in here on the 12 volts, or the AC outlet, you cannot do pass-through. Pass-through only works on the USB outputs right here. So let's say I can't run the fan over here and run pass-through that way, because just the draw so much, and it protects the circuitry inside this unit. So I think that kind of about covers it. I know some people will use grinders, small fridges, and there's several other things that you can use to push this unit. But at 300 watts, I give it credit, it does pack a punch. So let's kind of wrap this up. Let me pull back and let's wrap up this whole review. All right, folks. So let's look at the wrap up on this little 300 watt unit. I think it's pretty nice. From my perspective, there's a lot of pros versus cons on there. Like I said, the worst con that I can see in something like this is the aspect, okay, you're only limited by 300 watts, but when you have something this small and this compact, what do you expect to get out of that? You know what I mean? It has a great charging cycles on this. What else can I say positive about it? It just has a lot of capabilities for such a small unit. Now, from my perspective, this is something that I'm going to keep in my vehicle, in the aspect if something goes wrong with the vehicle and I don't have access to, let's say, something, my phone dies or some other issue dies, or my communications, or I need flashlights for my battery, this can come in handy. Or like I said, for you out there in the more northern regions, maybe a small heater. For me, of course, I would have some fans. I'm going to try this on my portable AC unit, because the AC unit only draws about 200 watts. Now, I'm assuming with that kind of draw that I have on that AC unit, we'll see what happens to that. And of course, I'll let you guys know in a live stream whenever I get to discuss, go further with some of these products that I review, what happened. So stay tuned for that, right? Anyways, this unit here, you can find it on the Rockpals. I'll put all the links down below if you're interested and want to look a little further into it and the cost. And some people are going to ask, Do they ship overseas? Where do they ship? Well, here in the continental United States, I guess the lower 48 per se, right? Most of the time you're going to pay about $245 with free shipping and handling. So that's not too bad for a unit of this size. I think it's very cost effective. Now, if you wanted to add the solar panels, the 100-watt solar panels to this, you're probably looking around $435. Now, the ship time around for most stuff in the U.S. is anywhere from 4 to 7 days. When it goes overseas, of course, that could take anywhere from 12 to 30 days, depending on where you're located overseas. So if you're someone in Canada, well, you're in Canada's north of us, but if you're someone like over in the UK, France, Sweden, Australia, and the list goes on, you can always go to their website and it'll kind of give you that information. Like I said, I'll put the links down in the description. I can't remember if I have a discount code for this or not. If I do, I'll put that down there below. I get a lot of emails in regards to reviewing products. This is something I wanted to review for quite some time. I just wanted to know a little ins and outs and test it a little bit before I kind of showed it to you, the viewers. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you guys enjoy reviews of this type? Do you like to kind of see how some of these products work, kind of try before you buy kind of thing, and the aspect of you get to see me kind of use it? I know I didn't push it too hard, but it's not, I don't want to drag a bunch of stuff out here into the yard outside of this big old fan that I brought out here that pulls about, I said, it's pulling about 145 watts, but it kind of gives you the idea. Everything has its limitations depending on the size. If you want to spend thousands of dollars on, let's say, a 1500 watt unit, then so be it. Then you'll expect that you'll have that type of power to power the things that you're looking for, let's say like a refrigerator or even like a microwave or something that has that massive draw on there. Something like this might not work for you, but something like this to have in your vehicle as an emergency backup and an emergency situation, this is awesome. This small compact unit, and then all I would do with the solar panels is throw them on top of my vehicle so they have maximum penetration from the sun into those solar panels, and I can keep this charged. I can also charge it through my unit. Let's charge it through the AC outlet plug, or yeah, the DC outlet plug from the vehicle itself. So I think that's a positive thing. So there's so many different ways to charge this, but I think having the solar panels with this and be able to put those solar panels on top of my car, being that I live in Florida and we usually have an abundance amount of sunshine. Now, some people say, well, what about if you break down in the evening and you really need this now? Well, that's why I would keep this charged, and I would check it every once in a while, let's say once a week or every couple of weeks, to see the how it dissipates, how the battery dissipates over time. That's something that you have to kind of look at when you have something that's sitting in your car. Temperature plays a role in things. If it's super cold, super hot, you know, there's different fluctuations and things, so everybody's going to have a little bit of a different experience. So for people that come across things like that, before you, you know, people always find products and they'll write a bad review, and I'm not saying there's any bad reviews in regards to this, but in general on a lot of different products across the board, they never take it and use it for quite some time and break down what could have went wrong. So I'm going to be exploring this and using this in my vehicle for the next 6-7 months, and I'm going to do a follow-up with this and let you know how this is working out for me. I'm going to, you know, be in a situation where I have an emergency and kind of use it for that purpose and see how far can I push this little guy. Anyways, please drop down any comments, questions, or anything like that. Please drop them down in the comment section. If you got any value at all from this video, please hit that thumbs up button. I truly appreciate that. Anyways, this is Grey. I'm out. I'll see you guys on a rebound. God bless.